love my houseplants, but I do not like those annoying gnats that seem to fly up into your face. In this video, I'll be sharing the best DIY gnat trap that will help you get rid of these unwelcome gnats, and I'm going to share some remedies that didn't work for me. And if you watch all the way till the end, I'll be sharing some extra things that you can do to make sure that you will overcome your gnat infestation. Hi, I'm Thea and I'm here to share healthy, natural and affordable tips with you. And today we are talking about natural remedies to get rid of fungus gnats. Now, fungus gnats are not the same as fruit flies. Fruit flies, as their name implies, like to hang around your fruit bowl, and they actually lay their eggs in compost or trash or your fruit. And they are slightly bigger than these fungus gnats. But fungus gnats are smaller, they're black, and they lay their eggs in the soil of your houseplants. Then the eggs hatch and their larvae eat the rotten roots in the soil, but an infestation will also damage the roots of your plant. Finally, they will turn into fungus gnats that fly around your house and multiply, and the whole process repeats itself. Now, fruit flies you can catch with a fruit fly trap. You can make a DIY one, which are pretty simple, or you can buy one. This one is from Taro. And you put a little bit of vinegar or something else that would attract them. They come in and they can't come out, and that's how you can get rid of your fruit flies. But with fungus gnats, they live in your houseplants, and you don't want to get rid of your houseplants. So you need to find ways to get rid of the flies without interfering with your houseplants. Having plants in my house is not just cute and nice for aesthetics, but it's actually useful because the plants increase the air quality and therefore increasing the health of my family. However, recently our air was filled with annoying little gnats that were flying around our house. So here's what happened. I had bought a bag of potting soil and I did not realize that it was infested with these gnats, or better said, the eggs of the gnats. And so I repotted all my plants, and after I repotted them, I watered them, it became nice and warm. Then these eggs started hatching and the gnats started multiplying. I've had a few fungus gnats in my house before, here or there, but I've never had an infestation like this happen before. They were everywhere, in every room, even in the bathroom or the kids' rooms where there are no plants. And they have the habit to fly into your face. They've flown into my nose, they've flown into my ear, where you hear them zoom all of a sudden. They sound like a mosquito when they zoom into your ear. It was becoming a real problem. Here's a little tip that I found out later, which I wish I had known beforehand. So when you go and buy potting soil, you can open up the bag as soon as you buy it in the store and check if there's any gnats inside of the bag. If there are, return that bag and get another one. If you don't see any gnats, take it home, moisten it and place it in a warm spot and wait for 2 weeks, because it can take up to 2 weeks for these gnats to hatch. If you see any gnats in the bag, go back to the store and return it, because soil that is infested with gnats, it's just no good. It's best to return it so you can avoid this whole problem. So I did not know this, and one option was to repot all my plants with clean soil and throw away the infested soil. But I really didn't want to do that. Potting plants is kind of messy and time-consuming work, and I didn't really want to deal with that, so I decided to handle the infestation and hopefully annihilate these pests. So here's a few things that I tried that didn't really have good results for me. The first one was the cheapest. I thought, I'm just going to use what I already have at home, and I found some examples of using yellow post-it notes and covering it with glue or honey to make it stick, and then putting it on a popsicle and planting it next to your plants. So I had all those items already at home, so I tried that, but I guess the honey just wasn't sticky enough. The gnats really didn't stick to it. It was not very successful at all. Now, another thing that I tried but wasn't too effective was I covered my dirt with cinnamon. Now, it made my house smell delicious every time I watered my plants. It did not kill the larvae that were living in the soil enough. It did not kill the gnats that were walking on top of the cinnamon. So maybe the cinnamon helps a little bit, but it wasn't strong enough to help with my infestation. I had 2 plants that had the worst infestation, so I covered the dirt with sand from the sand pits. Now I was using this particular sand, Sandtastic, and as I mentioned in my video on silica, you can find over here on this link, it's very important that you use non-toxic sandpit sand because sand naturally contains silica and it is super poisonous and toxic when it is breathed in. So it is important that you use non-toxic sandpit sand. However, the Sandtastic sand is very fine, and so when my kids play in it, it's very dusty and it sticks all over on their legs and their clothes. It makes them very messy, which I am not a fan of. It doesn't work well in making molds or mud pies. So I am trying to find a better option for our sandpit sand. So I figured I can use the sandpit sand for my plants. As you can see on this little plant, when I shake the container a little bit, gnats are coming out of the dirt. So this sand has been on here for more than 2 weeks, I think for about a month, and the hatching cycle is about 2 weeks, so it should be working if it was effective, but it looks like it's not really effective in stopping the gnats from hatching from my plant. So then I decided I needed to come up with an effective gnat trap. And of course you can buy them online, but I figured maybe I can use some stuff that I already have in my house. I made these gnat traps with sticky traps. All you need for the gnat trap is a sticky trap, some toothpicks, and some tape. I did use popsicle sticks at first. It's a little harder to put them into the soil, so with toothpicks it's much easier to put the gnat trap into the soil. So I figured out I have those anyways, I'll use those. But if you don't have toothpicks, of course you could use a popsicle stick as well. The big trick in all of this is that you have to freeze your sticky trap. You put it in the freezer for a few hours overnight, and sticky traps are kind of like chewing gum. When you freeze them, they become very hard, and when they're warmer, they become sticky again. So as they are frozen, it is easy to cut them with some scissors. They will not stick to your scissors. If you're cutting your sticky trap and you notice that they start to stick to your scissors, then put them back in the freezer for a while and then cut them again. Don't leave them out to thaw for a little bit. Cut them straight from the freezer. I leave this little paper edge on the top so that there is an area for me to hold on to without having to touch the sticky traps, because obviously they'll stick to my fingers as well. And I try to cut out as many as I can. They are a little bit less than an inch wide. Of course, it doesn't matter too much how wide exactly they are, but I would say at least half an inch wide would be enough to get some flies on the sticky trap. On the back side of each strip, you attach the toothpicks with some tape. Make sure you squeeze the tape tightly to the toothpick and the sticky trap to make them as secure as possible. I repeat this for the second toothpick. I tried the sticky traps with 1 toothpick, but I found out that did not work too well. So with 2 toothpicks, the sticky trap is much more secure and it doesn't twist when you try to put it into the dirt of the plant. After you make the sticky trap, all you have to do is peel off the plastic layer and put your sticky trap next to your plant. And these traps work. Here you can see where I put the sticky trap in a very infested plant, and within seconds a gnat jumps up onto the sticky trap. So I decided to grab my camera, and then within a few other seconds more gnats were jumping onto the sticky trap, showing how well they stick to the sticky trap. They cannot get loose. I have found that catching the adults is the most effective way of getting rid of these gnats, because when they're stuck they can't be flying in your face, but also they can go around, multiply, lay new eggs, and keep the cycle of multiplication going. And within a few weeks I noticed a huge decline of gnats. However, it doesn't work 100% because some of the gnats avoid the sticky traps and fly around my house still. So I looked up more ways to get rid of them, and I found that neem oil is an effective way to not kill them, but debilitate them, and apparently they don't multiply when they are affected by the neem oil. So I started doing that. I sprayed neem oil on all my plants, covered the dirt, and I started noticing that the gnats are acting differently now. Normally when I would shake a plant, they would fly up out of my plant, but now they're kind of running around. So I don't know if that is caused by the neem oil, but I am continuing to use neem oil and renew my sticky traps. I hope this video was helpful to you, and if you found it valuable, then let me know with a thumbs up. Also, let me know, would you like to see more plant videos or rather more on healthy natural homes? Let me know so I know what kind of videos to make. Thank you so much for watching, and of course you're very welcome to join the club and subscribe, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Bye bye!